Will Brinson. He's one of the best, man. CBS Sports NFL writer. You can call him the troll god. Now, here's what I want to ask. We say hi to Will, and thank you for joining, Will. Appreciate it. I know it's a busy time of the year for you. Is the troll – now, I'm going to get to your real mock draft, but you've been doing this for so long. My assumption is the troll draft that you did earlier this week, is that something that you just started? Because I can't remember you doing the troll draft before.
Yeah, it's actually a long-time passion project of mine, which says terrible things about me as a human being, I guess. I've been doing mocks for CBS since like 2012, maybe. I mean, it's been a long time, but when we sort of started, we had moved some people over into more like full-time draft coverage roles. And so I probably started doing less, like a mock draft every 2 weeks. And then this year they're like, all right, well, what should you do one every week? I was like, all right, whatever. And I was like, I've been wanting to do this troll draft for like 5 years now. I've been wanting to piss off every fan base in the NFL possible. You can't get the Dolphins because they don't have a first round pick. Like various teams don't have a first round pick, but that was the goal. And I finally decided that, you only live once. So let's fire it up and let's get the troll draft going. What I think is the funniest part about it for me was that, like in certain spots, I got a lot of feedback on it, and like mostly positive. But like the Packers, some people were like you made me so mad with this pick. That's brilliant. Packers fans were like, this is actually what we want, which I think is ironically hysterical that, when you do a regular mock draft, you could never, ever get every pick right and make every fan base happy. But like somebody's going to be mad. And so I couldn't even do it where I did a troll draft and piss off every fan base. Like I accidentally made some fan base happy, which I think is just the most beautiful part about the whole thing.
Well, let me follow up there real quick, Amal. So who have you found to be the most sensitive fan base over your years at CBS as far as an NFL fan base? Who's the most sensitive?
Well, the two that there's a bunch of salty. Every fan base is very salty. The two most aggressive fan bases for me have been the Bears fans who went and got a picture of my child and tweeted like sweet haircut, bro. And then a 49ers fan went on Facebook and grabbed a picture of my dead grandfather. So that was a bit aggressive for my taste. And I mean, like my grandfather was a big Jaguars fan, so he understood football. Nobody appreciates it, but I mean, you got to respect the absolute psychotic dedication to a professional sports team, your willingness to look up my Facebook account and find dead relatives and post them on Twitter.
By the way, Patrick, what's great? Not only does he have the troll draft, but I love the summary next to it. Washington Commanders, Nolan Smith, edge. Under no circumstances will Daniel Snyder allow his young quarterback to be helped. No, sir, not as he's in the middle of selling the team. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it was, look, and I'll be honest. I mean, I wouldn't tell this to my bosses, but I was running a little behind on the deadline. So I needed to, it almost was better because then my blurbs for some of these picks ended up being more quippy and witty and more entertaining, I think, than they might have been had I tried to sit down and be thoughtful about them. But yeah, it's under no circumstances is Dan Snyder helping anybody as he's being forced to sell this team. He's just not going to help anyone. It wouldn't be surprised me at all if he was I don't know if you guys saw the Brian Davis thing. Do you remember?
Yes.
Oh, he signed that basketball behind me, 92 Duke team right there. But he says he's got a $7 billion bid in to purchase the Washington football team. Right.
But it's even better.
Dan Snyder might be drumming this up. Dan Snyder might be drumming this up to try and squeeze an extra million out of Harris or whatever, or extra billion out of Harris.
It's even better, though, Will, because he went on, I'm sure you know him, the Sports Junkies, legends in D.C. for years and years doing sports talk.
I was on with him yesterday. Yeah,
I know you were. I heard you. I download him every day. He went on with him. Brian Davis, a former Dookie, wants to buy the Commanders. He went on with the Sports Junkie, Amal, and they asked him where he got the money. He said from white people. He said literally out loud, because there was rumors that he got it from Saudis and all this kind of stuff. He's like, I want to make it very clear. I got it from white people, Jewish people, Italian people, and Sicilian people.
Oh my God.
Wait, now let me ask about, so Amal, I believe, thinks Will Anderson is the best player overall in the draft, so this will make him happy. You've got Will Anderson going 2 to the Texans. You don't have them going quarterback.
Is this in? Yeah, that's the real mock draft, and I've got a new one that's coming out. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I think I trolled them. Yeah, okay, good. You got that's from 2 weeks ago. That's pretty close to what I have. Long story short, it was supposed to come out this morning. It's actually coming out tomorrow. I stayed up really late. I'm not going to complain about anybody. You know what? Whatever. It's coming out tomorrow. That's fine. Yeah, no, I'm not complaining about y'all. I'm complaining about somebody else.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like reasonably comparable to what I have coming out. But I really think that if you look at Houston and what they're going to do at number 2, D'Amico Ryans played football at Alabama. Nick Caserio comes from New England, where he spent a lot of time, working like fairly closely, well, obviously very closely with Bill Belichick, but fairly closely with Nick Saban. Like there's a relationship there. I think that this is a team in Houston that's saying, we know we are not a team that can win right now in 2023. I think they are better than people expect. I love their over 5.5 wins. But they're like, look, we are not going to force the quarterback spot. We think Bryce Young is our guy. We have picks at 2 and 12. We can add Will Anderson, who we know has a high floor. And, you've got I think the game against Darnell Wright, he really struggled. And there's some question marks about everybody in this class. Like this is just it's a very bad draft class overall. But like if you're Houston, you say we can add one of the blue chip defensive players at the top of the draft, and then we can see how this shakes out at 12. We have the ability to trade up. We have the ability to move back if we want. Maybe Will Levis, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson fall to us there at 12. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I mean, Justin Fields went 11 in his draft. Why can't C.J. Stroud fall to 12? And then you add in the fact that maybe they're at 12 and they're like, actually, all these quarterbacks went. We have Will Anderson. We're going to add another piece on defense for D'Amico Ryans. And if we win 3 games and we end up having the top overall pick and we get Caleb Williams or Drake May next year, that's fine too. So I think the notion that Houston is just going to draft whatever quarterback the Panthers don't take is very misguided.
Well, I know you live in the Raleigh area, but I've got to ask you a question that's off topic. How do you have an NC State and a Duke helmet behind you?
So that's actually not I have a Duke basketball.
Okay, I'm sorry. I saw this helmet behind. Okay, Duke
basketball. No, it's fine. No. This is actually a Macaulay helmet, and it's right next to my Distinguished Alumni Award, which I can't see because it's made of glass. But that's my high school that I went to. And the Duke and NC State thing, it's a very fair question. So I grew up a Duke fan. That's how you get this very punchable face, right? Like it checks out, right? You see the face and it's very punchable. And I grew up a Duke fan, rooting for, because my dad's best friend growing up had Iron Duke tickets. We would go over, and like sometimes it happens when we would go to Cameron a bunch. And so the 92 team I saw all the time, 91, 92 teams, the teams in the 80s, like the Billis teams and all that. Now the interesting thing too is, I mean, I don't know if you guys have kids, but like, my son loves to troll me. Clearly it's hereditary, right? Like I'm doing a troll mock draft, and like Robbie's trolling me 24/7. But you find a lot of times that kids will root in direct contrast to the teams that their parents like. And my dad was a Carolina fan, so I was like, I'll be a Duke fan. And then I got an NC State in college, went there, and immediately switched. And much to my chagrin, because we have I think the biggest thing we've won since I became a State fan is like the 2003 Gator Bowl.
By the way, I disagree with you. I disagree with you on the punchable face. Actually, some of my favorite collegiate players of all time, Grant Hill, Shane Battier, were Duke guys. I just couldn't stand the head coach. I said this year, now that Shire's there, I got no problem if Duke wins the ACC.
I think Coach K does, though. He doesn't want Shire winning. He wants
Thank you.
He wants everybody to remember he's the guy. Like Roy wants Hubert to win, and he's like there in every game. And Coach K's like up in his tower, like
Okay.
He's like, yeah, Shire, this is a 5-star.
This has been our best conversation, and we did nothing about the draft. Okay, so in 30 seconds, I don't care where they're going. Tell me your top 4. Give me the quarterbacks in order, the Will Brinson order, in 30 seconds here.
Well, and I can see the clock countdown, so I won't burn you on 30 seconds. But I will say that I think too that I don't have really any action on this draft so far, and that's very unusual for me. I think it is a wild, crazy draft. I think it's really hard to bet it. I think you were kind of chasing a little bit, assuming that there's gonna be easy profit. As to my top 4 quarterbacks, Bryce Young is just one for me. And then I go Levis and Stroud and then Richardson. Richardson is really intriguing, of course, but you're talking about a guy with like a lot of upside and a lot of downside. The floor ceiling is very weird there. So it's not that great a class overall to me.
A brand new mock, we think, coming out today over at CBS Sports. Check it out. Will Brinson, at Will Brinson on Twitter.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.